Mercedes, you look divine as always. Are you off to pray?
Oh, hello, Sylvain. I was just on my way to pray. How did you guess?
Well, when it's one of the only things you can do in the monastery, it's kind of a given most of the time.
Well, because I've been watching your lovely...
Oh, I get it. You're the type who's always looking at girls, aren't you?
100%.
I won't lie, I do enjoy beholding women, but I don't mean it like that with you. I know I sound like a dope. I think you're special.
He says to 10 other people.
Oh, really? You think I'm so clumsy that I need someone to watch over me. Is that why you can't take your eyes off me?
You're beautiful, and I mean that. You're... how can I put it without sounding even worse? Okay, here goes. I want to get to know you better. As friends, I mean.
I don't know where to begin.
Well, what's something you like?
I like to pray. I've been praying regularly since I was a child.
Would you like to come to church, Sylvain? He's like, no.
You grew up in the Empire, didn't you?
That's right. I was raised in House Bartels.
Bartels? I thought you were born to House Martreats.
It's a complicated story. I'm not sure that it's a very interesting one, but I'm happy to share it with you.
I don't mean to be nosy, if it's too personal.
Oh no, I don't mind. I wasn't trying to hide anything from you. House Martreats fell shortly before I was born.
Oh.
My father passed away while my mother was still pregnant with me, so she had nowhere to go. After I was born, my mother ended up marrying the head of House Bartels. Shortly after, my mother bore a true Bartels child who bore a crest. She and I were treated as though we were no longer useful to the family after that.
So this is a bit more of specific details about what happened with Mercedes' past.
You think the Bartels were just using her to secure a crest?
They must have been. My mother and I were removed from the family and forced to flee to a church in the kingdom. I abandoned the Bartels name and took up our old family name again.
So you grew up in a church. Okay, it makes more sense now why you're praying all the time.
Yes, Oh, praying! I forgot that I was on my way to pray.
Right, and I interrupted you. Well, see you around, Mercedes.
Yes, see you.
Okay.
House Bartels wanted a crest and ruined other people's lives to get one. These idiots are all the same.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so next is Sylvain and Annette.
Hey, Annette. Hitting the magic books again? Has anyone ever told you that you're pretty cute when you're studying?
Sorry, Sylvain, but I'm trying to think right now. Could you keep quiet for a bit?
I bet Sylvain just wants to look at Mercedes without seeming like a creep. She's just some delicious eye candy. To be fair, a lot of the units in Fire Emblem Three Houses are delicious eye candy, so you can't blame him, really.
How can you stay focused reading a book that thick? With such small print? Is some of that text upside down?
If I use the formula in this line here, the magical energy should... No, that's not right.
You're even cuter when you're working through a difficult problem.
Sylvain, I'm serious. Please be quiet.
Yeah, hang on. Look at the third line. You've got the formula wrong.
Wow, is Sylvain actually smart?
I said the... Oh, you're right. How did you know that?
Well, I mean, it's written right there.
Most people wouldn't be able to grasp this formula just by glancing at it. Have you read this book before?
Nope, this is the first time. Okay, now that I look at it... Wow, this book makes things way more complicated than they need to be.
And what's your take on this part here?
It's just describing another application for the same formula. Ha! This is pretty easy.
He's actually smart.
You know, you're actually kind of amazing. I've been studying magic for a while now, but even I have trouble with this stuff.
It's hard to take him seriously when he's trying to be like a philanderer and chasing after girls all the time, but this is proving he's actually intelligent.
You act like all you do is mess around, but are you actually working really hard in secret?
Nah, hanging out with girls is way more fun. I guess I just picked this stuff up somewhere. Life is short, Annette. If you waste it working hard, it'll be over before you know it. Get out in the world. Have some fun.
That's easy for you to say. You're strong and smart without even trying. It's not fair. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude.
How was that rude? You're strong and smart without even trying. Oh, I guess she's calling him lazy.
No, I was just thinking you're pretty cute when you're sulking. You know that?
What is wrong with you?
Hey, I just got lucky with that stuff in the book. I'd normally never be able to outsmart you. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here and leave you to it.
Got lucky, huh? I'm not so sure about that. Well, that does it. It might be tough, but I won't accept second place. Let's go, me. I can do this. I'm gonna finish this whole book before sundown.
Okay. Interesting interaction between ginger-haired couple. Alright, next we have Mercedes and Annette.
Whew. That shopping trip took longer than expected, didn't it, Mercy?
It truly did. You bought just about everything in the place.
You're so good at deciding the best thing to buy. I sort of wanted it all. I mean, not that I was excessive. I think you bought just about as much as I did.
Oh, really? The number of bags you're carrying says otherwise.
Oh, they went on an extravagant shopping trip.
What? That's... fine. You got me. I was just having too much fun. I love shopping with you, Mercy.
It was fun. It's nice going into town without having to run errands for once.
Isn't it? And I'm pretty confident the professor will forgive our little detour. This actually reminds me of going to school in Ferdiad.
Oh yeah, this will be fun because they went to school together. In the magic school. Yeah, this would be cool.
Me too. It almost feels like that time in our lives was a story from long ago.
Sylvain just keeps saying you're pretty cute when you blank. Yeah, I think that's kind of his go-to line is you're pretty cute when something.
So much has changed since then. Oh, but there's at least one thing that hasn't changed.
How old you are?
Me and you, right? We're the same old friends we always were.
That's just what I was about to say.
I've known you so long I can always guess.
Mercy, we'll stay friends like this forever, won't we?
Is something wrong? You sound worried.
Since our time in the capital, so much has happened.
This would have been an interesting thing if I had recruited one of these two and had their C support before the time skip, and then had them face against each other. I bet there's probably a unique quote for that somewhere.
We've had to make new lives for ourselves, and we've seen at least as many hard times as good. If things keep changing like this, I wonder if we'll be able to stay the same people we are now.
I wonder that too. I don't think everything in the future will be perfect, but it's us. So I'm sure
we'll figure it out together, right?
How did you know what I was going to say?
I've known you too long, Mercy.
Oh, Mercy, I can always guess what you're gonna say.
Oh, it's getting late. We better hurry back before the professor gets angry.
You're right. Run, Mercy!
What?
Run!
Wait for me, Annie. You know I'm not as fast as you.
Run!
Okay. So, we got Mercedes and... Ooh, I think we got one with Eloisa. Yeah, okay. This will be an interesting support.
You trust too much, allowing someone who has turned their blade on you to come near.
Because there are two sides to you, you fear that I endanger myself?
I am nothing more than a merciless killer.
So then, how does he stop the Death Knight from killing me as a teacher?
A demon whose only pleasure is found within death's shadow. Such a creature should not be allowed near you, dear sister.
Just what are you implying, Emil?
I have come to bid you farewell. Today, I will leave the monastery for good.
Hell no.
If I stay, it is only a matter of time before I hurt you. Just like I did those in House Bartels.
You can't leave. But if it must be so, then answer me this before you depart. Why did you kill your father?
Wasn't expecting that.
On the day I took his life, Father had just discovered that you and Mother were hiding at a church in the kingdom. He was considering bringing both of you back home. But by then, Mother was past the age to bear children.
Oh, wow. So he just said, out with you.
And so, he proclaimed that he would take the only other female of the Lamine bloodline. That he would
What?
take you as his wife.
Oh, actual Game of Thrones style incest. Oh, okay. Funnily enough, I think Yuritsa has now got some understandable motivations for this. Ugh. They don't hold back on the hard-hitting questions. They don't hold back on the weird, like, backstory / political intrigue with the whole family history kind of angle, do they? Ooh.
What happened after that? I remember nothing of it. How I killed him, or what his final words were.
Yeah, I can imagine you'd want to blot that out.
You did it for me. To protect me.
Regardless of reasons, a demon is a demon. I have said enough.
Like, we already went with one side of this with Seteth and Flayn, right? Because Seteth was pretending to be Flayn's brother. No. Yes. Flayn's brother, but actually he's Flayn's dad. So before that was actually explained, we were going on about, like, Seteth's wife is Flayn's mother? What? And that was just, like, really, really uncomfortable. But this is an actually uncomfortable thing to think about. It's like, ugh.
Hold on. That isn't fair.
Not fair?
No. You can't just tell me all of that and then vanish forever.
Yeah, I need you for the rest of the game.
Please stay. At least until this horrible war meets its end. I want you around just a while longer.
Jan says it's common in plot setting stories like this. Yeah, I guess it is quite common for that kind of thing, but I wasn't expecting it in a Nintendo game. That's the weirdest part, I think.
But all that I do results in harm to others. You saw it yourself. The demon that lives within bears his fangs indiscriminately. You know all of this. And still you wish for me to remain?
Even if I am hurt, or worse yet, killed, if it is by your hand, then I will find peace. I am, and will always be, your big sister, Emile.
Mercedes,
I love you, Emile. That never changes. Understand?
I understand. Then I will remain here a while longer. Until we see this war through, I will remain by your side.
So there's been a lot of Yuritsa sticking around until the war's done. So I'm half thinking about the next DLC thing that's going to be in Crimson Flower. Well, I don't know actually. Sorry. I don't actually know if it is going to be in Crimson Flower, but the next DLC thing is going to be a story DLC. I don't know if it's going to be paralogs or if it's going to be a different route. This kind of stuff with Yuritsa makes me think it's going to be a specific to Crimson Flower thing. Alright, who got left? Still got quite a few left. Alright. So, we've got Annette and Hanuman.
And that should explain it. Did you understand all of that, young Annette?
I did. Thank you very much. Oh, but I was also wondering about this part here. It seems a bit off.
Questioning something like this is proof that your understanding has grown. Most impressive. Sit there, and I'll put this on the blackboard so you may copy it into your notes for later study.
Wonderful. I can't wait.
I
Very
believe
diligent
that should
student.
explain everything, yes? Any further questions?
None. Thank you so much. I feel so great. I'm really sorry for taking up so much of your time, though.
Not at all. Not at all. Your intellectual curiosity is marvelous to see.
Jan says, I think Yuritsa's my favorite character in this game. He looks so cool, it makes me want to draw him. You should see him in his Death Knight armor. That's pretty cool. He's got a whole portrait and a mask that changes how his voice sounds. Not massively, but there's definitely like some modulation going on. But yeah, no, Yuritsa is really cool, and it's hard to think that he wouldn't have actually been in the game before the DLC updates. So, yeah.
And you have a top-notch character. Keep on as you are, and I sense a bright future for you.
Really? That's so nice of you to say. I'll do my best. I'm honored to be your student.
If only your friends would learn from your example. Yes, a classroom full of attentive, studious pupils would be quite refreshing after all these years. Have a good evening, Miss Annette, and do not hesitate to ask any other questions.
I won't, thank you. Goodbye for now.
Wait, you'll trip if you leave like that.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Also, I realize we're having a bit of tonal whiplash going from something mega serious and depressing to happy-go-lucky student-teacher fun times, but that's just a kind of a consequence of going from A supports to C supports and so on. And, you know, it's kind of... I'm not going to get through these supports any other way, so I can't go through like all the C supports first, then the B supports, then the A supports, because some of them just won't get done. Alright, so we've got Lawrence and a Marianne C+.
Tell me, Marianne, do you have a love of flowers?
Well, I don't dislike them.
I've happened upon a spot that's just teeming with splendid blossoms. Would you like me to show you?
I think I would rather stay. It would be for the best if you kept your distance from me.
Well, perhaps I could pick a few of the nicest and present them to you. With a beautiful bouquet in your arms, your magnificence would rival even that of the goddess.
I would never
Isn't that
compare
blasphemy?
myself to the beauty of the goddess.
Yeah, that's blasphemy.
I see. Well, I don't mind. Oh, that is a lovely handkerchief you've got there. Did you know that a handkerchief reflects the sensitivity of its owner? Yours tells me you have quite a refined sensibility.
Shower with compliments.
If you only applied yourself a little more to the rest of your ensemble, there is no doubt in my mind.
If you admire my handkerchief so much, you may have it.
No, please, that is not what I meant.
Jan says it looks like filler. So, these conversations are kind of like filler, but I think they are also important to get to know the characterizations of everyone. So because not all of these people were in my house to begin with, I only recruited them after I got a B support with them, you don't get to see a lot of them interacting with other people until now. So it's not really filler as such, it's just these are conversations that would happen if I was the leader of their house. And I'm doing it now because this is the only time I've got to do it. But I'm still enjoying this kind of stuff.
It was a gift from my adoptive father. I didn't choose it for myself. I'm sure I don't share his refined sensibilities, though, considering how little he and I have in common. I have to go.
Such beauty. And yet, with just a little polish, she'd be a marvel. If only she'd put in some effort.
Oh yes, how flattering, Lorenz. Thank you.
I wonder. Indeed, I shall make it my mission to awaken her beauty.
Lorenz is going to go around with a makeup gun like Annette did with Ingrid.
There is nothing that I, Lawrence Hellman Gloucester, cannot do.
Okay, so that's C+. Now we've got Lorenz and Manuela.
Lawrence, do you have a moment to spare, my dear?
Hello, Professor Manuela. I trust all is well with you.
I am quite well, thank you for asking. You are always such a gentleman.
Thank you for saying so. How may I be of service?
I was wondering if we might spend a little time together, maybe chat a bit?
Certainly. It is an honor to speak with someone as elegant as yourself. I've just made tea. Would you like a cup?
Oh, that would be just lovely. Lawrence, I hope you won't think it too forward of me, but I was wondering if you could explain a poem to me. It goes like this. Verdant rains soothe my aching heart like a cherished friend.
I mean, that seems fairly straightforward.
Amid time's flow I mourn, bonds I'm not sure I can ever rend.
Are you really reading into this as much as you should be, Manuela?
As my mind clings to desperate thoughts, here it comes, Horsebow Moon and Summer's End.
How wonderful it would be to deflower such a magnificent rose. Yeah, it is kind of creepy, isn't it? And he's not going to be much better with Lawrence and Manuela either.
Oh, that's my poem.
Oh, public shaming.
As I
Nice.
suspected, I've checked absolutely everyone's handwriting. It's a sad poem, though, isn't it? Feels lonely, possibly even, dare I say, defeated. What makes you feel that way, Lawrence? Why aren't you happy? I very much want to know.
Come, tell teacher.
Well, I suppose Wait, why are you reading my poetry? Where did you even get that?
I think the students all have a habit of leaving their books around.
I found it, and when I saw the words, I read them. Well, that's what people do when they see words. They read them.
Kindly return that at once. Reading someone else's work without permission. What an egregious breach of etiquette. Honestly.
Oh, dear. Snatching at something someone else is holding. How violent. It's not like you to lose your composure, Lawrence.
Manuela is taking the perfect tone with this, I just have to say.
Please, just forget you ever saw it. I beg you.
I'm afraid I could never forget that peek into the darkness of your soul. Nor would I want to.
Then at the very least, would you kindly promise not to mention it to anyone else?
Oh, I don't think that'll happen.
Don't feel embarrassed. No. Be proud. It's a lovely piece of writing. Quite revealing. I'd never guess you'd have such hidden depths. Tell me more.
I think Manuela's fascinated with Lawrence.
That's quite enough.
And he runs
That's
away.
Absolutely adorable. So bashful. I simply must hear more of his poetry sometime soon.
She's a dumb. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, how dare you read my papers? It's not like you're a professor who reviews student papers. Yeah, I don't know what people are thinking when they leave all their stuff around, honestly. Alright, getting close to the end of these. So, we have Hanuman and Manuela.
Manuela, isn't it a bit rude to sigh at someone the moment you see them enter the room?
Yeah, we already know you don't get along, you like oil and water.
Hanuman, isn't it a bit rude to tell others how to behave? Besides, I could be sighing about any number of things more interesting than you.
Ooh.
Goodness, you're unusually irritable today. Don't you imagine your attitude a bit excessive?
I'm living for these snippy comments against each other.
You snap at every little thing. Your ill mood on display for one and all. It saddens me to see such behavior from one who should be setting a good example for the younger generation.
Does Hanuman not consider Manuela part of the younger generation?
Well, listen to the noble lecturing a lowly commoner to be on her best behavior. Oh, wait, I meant to say the former noble.
Ooh, burn.
I fail to understand how my birth is relevant to the topic at hand. I was merely trying to say that as a fellow adult...
You're not done lecturing yet? Leave me alone and go pester someone else. Maybe leave everyone alone and go focus on your precious crest research.
The Real Pie Master says 400 followers exactly. Yeah, I did notice that actually. I think we had actually reached 400 followers a while ago, and then I guess some of them might have been bots, so some people stopped following, but we went down a bit recently, but now we're back up to 400, so really pleased with that. So yeah, thank you guys for following us for 400 followers.
I don't know what to say to you, Manuela. I was only speaking out of honest concern.
Oh, was that a sigh I heard? Isn't it a bit rude to sigh at someone just because...
Don't be so childish. You are so sensitive to ill will from others, yet you let your own emotions run wild. Why is it that you cannot keep a handle on yourself?
Is it because you're a woman?
Keep a handle on? Well, I've never. What makes you think you're so much better?
See those veins bulging out?
Just because you keep your emotions bottled up behind your stupid stony face. Well, it doesn't mean everyone else has to do the same. Stop telling everyone how to behave, Hanuman. It will make you and the rest of us much happier.
I will not stand for this insolence. It is high time someone taught you.
A lesson! Slap.
Go on! If you think you can change me, I'd like to see you try. Thought so. You wouldn't dare.
Absolutely insufferable.
Manuela is absolutely a Dom. And that's a C support. Whew. Okay. We got Hanuman and Eloise.
Professor Hanuman, what do you think of my progress so far?
To be blunt, you are still struggling more than I would expect.
Ah, I see. I suppose I need to give it a little more of that Eloise oomph.
How does someone remain so upbeat when they are accomplishing, well, absolutely nothing?
Come again? I didn't quite catch that.
Talking about him while he's in front of him?
Just jabbering to myself. Pay me no mind.
All right. I've been wondering, why did you agree to train me in the first place?
He likes a challenge.
When I told everyone you were teaching me, they could hardly believe it.
Well, if I'm completely honest, you're less of a student and more of an experiment.
Wow, thanks, Hanuman.
You have no crest, but you might be able to learn magic, despite our early results.
Technically, all the units in this game can learn magic because they can all reclass to be nobles or commoners, and nobles and commoners can use magic.
And the potential magical ability of those who lack a crest is precisely what I hope to research.
That's a surprise. A crest scholar researching people without crests?
When studying crests, it is also important to understand the effects of their absence. After all, the very reason for all of my research is to grant the power of a crest to anyone who desires it. If it is in fact possible to increase the magical potential of people lacking a crest, then I find myself one step closer to my goal.
That's pretty cool.
Hence, my experiments with you are quite valuable to my research.
Oh, that's wonderful! What a great man you are, Professor Hanuman. Truly a man among men. Why, if I could prove it's possible to use magic without a crest, what an honor that would be. Oh, please, use me as you see fit. I won't let you down, I promise.
Could you express your enthusiasm more quietly? And if at any point you wish to discontinue...
Heavy hint.
Oh no, I'm ready to go. Let's make a breakthrough. Come on, Hanuman. You should be shouting too. A bright future awaits.
No. Shouts and screams are detrimental to scholarly research and to my ears.
Oh, I meant to tell you, I have some friends who struggle with magic as well.
You can teach them too.
I'll ask them to help. Perhaps if we all chip in, we can make your dream a reality. Onward!
And Hanuman's stuck teaching people that can't use magic.
Eloise! Forget it. That man never slows down. But I suppose I can appreciate why some are drawn to his exuberance.
Okay. And last but not least, we have a support between Manuela and Eloise.
Eloise, what a pleasant surprise. Would you care to join me?
Ah, perfect. I was just looking for someone to dine with. Let's raid the dining hall, shall we?
My goodness, but you're in a good mood.
Manuela, I have some news. I received a letter from my wife today.
Your wife? I think he's mentioned his wife before, but I thought there was something about them dying. No, I can't remember now.
Oh?
My daughter just picked up a new skill. Can you guess what it might be?
Singing? Dancing? I've no idea what parents teach their kids, or why they even have children at all. Still, give me a hint. Fishing? Bricklaying? Cooking?
Does Manuela not want kids?
That's right. Spot on as always. My wife is teaching her the basics.
The basics of which?
Next time I'm home, my daughter will be able to cook me all my favorite meals. What a lucky father I am. Is any father in the world luckier than I?
I don't know. And I don't care to know.
My wife greeting me at the door. My daughter's nervous face as she sets the meal on the table.
I don't think nervous is good.
Oh, I'm so excited I bet I won't even be able to taste the food as I devour it.
Wouldn't your daughter appreciate it more if you took the time to savor?
Then I'll say, how delicious! That was the second best meal I've ever had.
Second best?
Not first best? Shouldn't you encourage her?
Mommy's cooking is the best, but you're a close runner-up, darling.
Why would you say?
Oh, Daddy, I'm so happy you liked it, she'll say, as she embraces me, a big smile on her little face. Ah, what could make a man happier?
So there's a weird thing here where Eloisa is like picturing his dream family and home and everything. And yet we know that he can have an S support with the teacher. So that kind of presents this as not being 100% true.
You've forgotten I'm here, haven't you? Oh, all I wanted was a dinner companion. What did I do to deserve this?
You sat next to him. Yeah, it's really odd how that doesn't really line up with... If he's going on about his wife and his daughter all the time, then that makes the S support you can get with him a bit weird. So... But anyway, we have done all the supports from the auxiliary battles and so on from last time. Took an hour and a half to do it, but we got through them eventually. So I'm going to go ahead and make a save here. And we are going to go to the end of month mission once I've replenished battalions. Just need to make sure I don't forget to do that, because it's very easy to forget that you haven't got battalions equipped. Alright, end of month mission, 331.